We just came for an evening walk down to the end. There's the sort of the break. We went beyond there to do the sea trials. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, it's a nice calm night. No winds at all. Some high clouds, some mackerel sky, which means there's a disturbance from the south, but it's going to be blowing southerly and we're going northerly, so it's good. So there's really no concern. So we should be able to go tomorrow. Get out of Dodge.
It's time to leave here.
Yeah.
This guy. Before we continue with the video, I must share how amazing he is. I cannot even put into words the amount of work this has been up until this point, and Steve has largely done it by himself, with a little bit of support from myself and then Ian when Ian came along. Steve spent a solid month in China finalizing the boat, organizing to get it to Hong Kong, and then nearly a month in Hong Kong organizing the trip, everything that comes along with that, and then some. Not only does he get the job done, he just does it with an effortless ease and a sense of humor that just makes the trip enjoyable when it could be miserable. It would take me writing a short novel to fully explain the intricacies involved here, so just take my word for it and let's all give this man a pat on the back. Filling out all of the paperwork for coming into Japan. Round 2.
Yeah.
This is the second time we've had to do it. They're very particular about every little detail. Okay, we're leaving today. It seems to be official. Steve is actually checking out. Apparently not all of us need to go. So just our passports had to go and Steve. So Steve is checking out and they almost didn't let us go because a little bit of the paperwork, the boat name is a little bit different. There's just a number added in there somewhere and it's not on one document and on some other ones, and they were almost not going to let us go because they didn't believe that Steve was the boat owner. So he spent like an hour arguing with them and finally he just said that they're going to let us go. Oh my gosh. So Fido and Captain Wang are on their way. I think they're with Steve right now. It's about like 10 after 11 a.m. on Monday. So we're going. We're leaving today. We are going to do the last little bit of stuff. We're probably going to leave as soon as we get everything done. And so it'll be an evening departure. And even yesterday was a struggle because yesterday the outboard stopped working again and we couldn't figure out what had gone wrong. I went to go pick Steve and Ian up on the shore and all of a sudden it just stopped working, and it took Steve a bit to figure out. We thought maybe the battery was too hot. This is like the brand new battery. It's like fully charged. What's going on? Thought maybe the cables weren't hooked up right. So we adjusted things. Steve adjusted things and finally found the reason, and it was the kill switch. The little red magnetic thing must have got caught on, there's all these half-sunken derelict boats all over the place, and it probably got caught on something and it ripped it off. So we were looking yesterday to try and find a replacement for that, and then he just said, you know what, I think there's a way to bypass it. So he bypassed it, like bypassed the kill switch thing. So, oh my lord, it has been a trip and we are so ready to leave here. Oh,
I see you again.
Hello, monsieur.
Captain Wang.
Hello.
How did you guys get here? Oh, Ian. Okay.
Ian.
Okay.
Ian picked us up.
Where's Steve?
He's not here.
Steve, I think he's in Mongkok.
He's staying.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, everybody here, shoe?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
进去。
Is there a body in there?
He's running away from he told me he's running away from home. He didn't really that's a joke.
My goodness.
Thank you. Oh, it's hot.
Oh,
Yes,
yes.
it's all of that.
useless. We're finally leaving. Leaving. Goodbye, Aberdeen ferries. Words don't describe how intense this is right now. For us, anyway.
係啊，攞中間呢條啊，黑色呢條。夠啦，唔好收緊，阿哥唔收緊。趕住前邊啊，大叔。係。大哥。好。將佢收後啲。得啦，夠啦。得。就將佢過。
Starboard mid, and then what? Then you want the other port mid? I assume. Yes.
Yes.
So you want to go here,
Starboard mid there,
here, and then
here,
back there, and
then
here.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That'll be it. 4,500.
Where do you measure the?
They're doing it up there.
Well, they just need to advise you, right?
Yeah.
They know to advise you at 1,000 or how much?
Well, I said Dave just put 1,300 in. What we can do, and then stop. And then we'll open that valve. 1,300.
Okay. Go.
Just a slightly intense moment.
That's okay.
I know, they're used to it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're used to it, but we're not in this boat anyway. You doing okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're fueling up. Thought we would be here for a couple of hours, but it's filling a lot faster than we thought. And just kind of sitting here getting some sea legs already as the boat is like rocking a lot, but no, at least in the old sailboat, I haven't really gotten a lot seasick. The only time I start to feel sick is if I'm down cooking and you're down below. But yeah, my job, my number one job this whole trip is to take care of Steve. My second job is to do something if I'm told to. My third job is to film. That's about it. As some of you may know, or you may not know, Steve is insulin-dependent diabetic. So, and he became so later in life. So sometimes he forgets that he's a diabetic. So that's why I say it's my job, because he's so busy doing everything else that he just needs my help with that. Nurse! While we fueled up, we tried to secure a few things a bit better, both down below and up top. The skiff was one of those things that we realized we needed to button up a little bit better.
Bye, Angel.
Be careful.
Nice to meet you.
By the time we left the fuel barge and got underway, it was around 7 p.m. Excitement was in the air, but as the sky darkened, it was clear how exhausted everyone was. Steve and Fido were down for the count early on. Ian did a watch for a couple of hours. How's it going?
Good. How you doing? Get these boats in front of us though, you can see these guys right here.
Right.
Not that far away. We got a couple of fishing boats there. Found a way to reduce the screen's brightness, which is good.
Yeah, I see that. And as he crashed and went to sleep, midnight came around and it was Captain Wang's turn. But I'm observant, and I could see the fatigue in his eyes too. So I felt it was necessary for me to stay up and do watch with Captain Wang, and I am so glad I did. I'm at the helm. It's about 12:30, like midnight. And I'm running the ship here. Just wanted to let everyone know we're all safe. We were going through the busiest port in the world, and for much of that 4-hour watch, I was the only one awake on the boat. I also ended up getting Steve up because 2 of the bilge lights were coming on. First, it was just the forward cabin and then the saloon cabin. So there was some valves we hadn't shut and the water was coming in up the valves. So I just thought that it should be addressed. So Steve got up in the middle of the night and we pumped out the bilge manually. The next day, everyone was feeling pretty awful, seasick and incredibly sleepy. Everyone took a few short watches during the day, but day watch isn't too big of a deal. It's really the night watches that are most critical. I do find it a little bit funny that the initial plan didn't include me in the watches at all for whatever reason. Perhaps I was seen as the weak link. But those first 2 nights, I did the lion's share of the watch, and I felt like I was on the boat with a bunch of hibernating bears. I guess it's a good thing I came after all. It was incredibly busy. There were fishing boats everywhere, and I had to navigate my way around all of them as best as I could, but they were just everywhere. There ended up being 2 incidences where a fishing boat was pissed off at us and went from being parked, so to speak, off to the side to full speed boating right in front of us. Unfortunately, it's just so dark and so loud. I don't know that this is going to work, and there's Captain Wang sleeping over there, but this just happened again where I went down to go pee. Ian was up here watching for me to go pee, and if on the toilet, all of a sudden the throttle goes down, and so the 2 minutes I was gone, another fishing boat off to the side started coming right in front of us. By day 3, everyone started to feel quite a bit better. Captain Wang had wanted to make us a lovely lunch, which included a delicious Italian salad. Up until that point, no one had really eaten anything. Ian, I'm doing a crew check-in.
How are ya?
How are you feeling today?
Better. Thank you.
Did the food help?
Food was great, actually. It was a great meal.
Yeah.
Really good.
Okay,
Really
so Ian's been pretty sick. Not vomiting, but pretty
Green.
pretty green. Okay. Feeling better. Good. Okay. Fido, I'm doing a crew check-in.
Oh,
How are you feeling now?
good.
Better?
Yeah, much better.
Not sick anymore?
No.
Okay, good. Steve,
What?
how are you feeling?
Good?
It was all that relief band, wasn't it?
Probably, I guess. I don't know.
You've had lots of naps, so you're feeling better?
Yeah, this is sleeping through it.
Sleep through it all. Captain Wang, how are you feeling? Good? That's good? Good. I am doing okay as well. Everyone is substantially better than... so this is, we left at 7 p.m. The following day was the brutal day, which was yesterday. So today is like day 2, I guess, technically. And yeah, everyone's good and people are more awake. Whereas yesterday, everyone, I swear to God, slept 22 hours of the day. I was the only one that really was able to even stay awake. And so we were gonna stop in the south part of Taiwan on a little island. It's sort of an emergency shelter point. We were gonna do that and just lick our wounds a little bit and wait for another window of opportunity to go, but we're looking closely at things and it looks like the best window of opportunity is now. That the sea where we're at on the inside passage is nice and flat for the next day. So rather than tuck in on the south part of Taiwan, we're gonna continue up to Taipei. And we have to tuck in there because things start to get ugly. So then we're gonna tuck in there and wait for an opportunity to go to Japan if we even can. The downside, I guess the advantage of tucking out on the south side is that you can pick your route from here if you want to go on the inside passage or go around and then go back up on the outside. And you could have really favorable wind and weather on the outside, but I think we're just gonna, you have to pick one or the other. And I think Steve really wants to just keep going and get to Taipei. That's kind of what's going on. Hello. I'm looking a little rough. Sea life is rough on you. I did in and around 14 hours of watch in a 24-hour period, and it was busy, but I did it. I feel good and confident. I feel a lot more confident, so handling the boat and making decisions. So yeah, we'll just keep going. For the first time, we had a relatively calm sea and were able to enjoy some time up on the flybridge. All of the men could have a more comfortable nap, and it looked to be that way for the rest of the night. Our initial plan by Captain Wang was to tuck into a port on a southern Taiwanese island, but Steve had 2 separate weather apps saying that the seas would continue to be calm up until the next day, so we thought we should carry on while we could. A few hours went by, and little by little, into the dark of the night, the sea became quite rough again.
Find out which port are we going to try to head for?
I don't know. I don't know how this is that way. Did you check that?
I mean, if we want to get the storm behind us, I mean, there's a place here, Taichung City, but we'll be broadside though. If we get it, put the storm behind us, we can go into there.
高雄，
Kaohsiung, yeah.
高雄在南部啊。
对呀，咱们现在没工作。
The little bit of video footage I'm showing here really doesn't do justice to what this was actually like. I picked a relatively calm time to pick up the camera and capture these few moments, but the worst of it wasn't filmed. It wasn't the worst storm by any stretch, but the waves were about 15 feet high and crashing over the boat, many of them hitting us broadside, which can get really dangerous. The contents of the boat were all over the place, and although I was actually quite excited and loving the adventure and thrill of it, the worst case scenario is that with a brand new boat, if something goes wrong in the middle of this, we could be in trouble.
Harbor, Wailau Harbor. This is the Canadian yacht called Logic. This is the Canadian yacht called Logic on 1-6 over.